and welcome back to yet another exciting week of the Lazy Money Game. In this week's episode, I will start by answering a question about which books to read if you want to know more about investing. And since this is the Lazy Money Game, there is of course a twist to this. And afterwards, I will give an update to my portfolio as well. So let's immediately look at the question: which books should I read if I want to know more about investing? The issue when I receive a question like this is I don't know how much you already know, and I don't know if you prefer to invest in individual stocks or if you don't want to sit and spend the time doing the research, and it would be better for you to just put your investments on autopilot, meaning just buying an index fund. But let me try and answer the question as broad as I possibly can. So if you want to pick individual stocks, a good book to start with would be One Up on Wall Street by Peter Lynch. And then the next book that I would recommend would be The Intelligent Investor. And it happens that both of these books are reviewed by this YouTuber called The Swedish Investor. So before you buy the books, I would highly recommend that you go in and watch the videos. And here you can see that he is actually doing a review of a lot of investment books. And this YouTuber is 100 times more popular than me, give and take. So this would be my way if you want to make it truly lazy. Just sit back and enjoy and get a summary of these books and then figure out if this is something that would resonate with you, so it would be worth your time and money to actually buy the book and read it. Because I truly believe that there is a lot of value to be gained from reading those books. I will of course leave links in the description below so you can go and watch these videos for yourself, and hopefully you will gain as much value from it as I got. If you don't want to pick individual stocks yourself, but are more leaning towards putting your investments on autopilot, well, then I would recommend a book like The Little Book of Common Sense Investing by John Bogle. Unfortunately, the Swedish Investor haven't done a review or a summary of this book, so that is why I'm just showing you the wiki page here. If you search for The Little Book of Common Sense Investing on YouTube, well, then you will be able to find an audio version of it. So you can try and take a listen to that if you don't want to buy the book and actually save the money. And just to give an example for why I really believe that The Intelligent Investor is a book that will add a lot of value to you if you're trying to pick individual stocks, let me read this quote for you. The intelligent investor realizes that stocks become more risky, not less, as their price rise, and less risky, not more, as their price fall. The intelligent investor dreads a bull market since it makes stocks more costly to buy, and conversely, so long as you keep enough cash on hand to meet your spending needs, you should welcome a bear market since it puts stocks back on sale. Once you start to understand this quote, then you will realize that just because you're looking at a wonderful business doesn't mean that buying the stock today will be a wonderful investment. You really need to take into consideration the valuation of the stock, because if you buy something at a too high of a valuation, then there is more risk in that stock than there is if you can buy it with a margin of safety. So this was just to mention a couple of examples of good investment books dependent upon what strategy that you are trying to pursue, meaning if you want to pick individual businesses or if you want to put your investing on autopilot. But please feel free to share in the comments down below some investment books that you would recommend where you think that you have learned a lot. If we then turn to my portfolio, well, the first thing we immediately notice is that there was a green circle for this week's episode. If we go to the portfolio values tab, we can see that the value of the portfolio has increased by a little more than $6,000 within this week. And I actually believe that this is the best performing week of the entire history of this channel. But as we talked about a couple of weeks ago, don't pay too much attention to what your investments are doing in the short term, because this is where the majority of people put their attention, and this is why you are not winning in the long run. Next week I could be down $5,000 or $10,000. That's just the nature of the game. So let us instead go to the dividends tab. And what a week this has been. It is truly an amazing start to 2022, since I have received more than $150 in dividends. I have received dividends from LTC, Simon Property and VG. So with a little more than $157 within a week, this is a truly amazing start to the year. If we then go back to the overview arc and scroll all the way to the top here, just so you can see how each individual stock has been performing since last week, well, obviously a lot of the stock has increased in value since you saw that the portfolio have seen massive gains. Specifically, financial stocks and energy stocks has done really well within this week. I am up more than 10% on Wells Fargo. The same goes for Unum Group, where I'm now back in positive territory, despite the fact that I was down more than 10% around Christmas. So now there's actually 15 out of 20 stocks that is in the green. So this starts to look more like something that you would actually consider investing in. But just as a humble reminder to myself and to you, let me show you how my portfolio looked back on the 22nd of March in 2020. Because this is why I time and time again tell, don't buy a stock just because somebody has recommended it to you. Because if your portfolio was looking like mine, the 22nd of March 2020, being down more than 40%, if you don't know what you're doing, chances are that you would have sold and taken a huge loss. I have stocks that are down more than 50, even 60, and actually there's a stock that is down more than 70%. If this had happened to you after you have received a tip from someone buying a stock based on that, chances are that you would have taken a huge loss, instead of 2 years later looking at something like this. So that actually sums it up for yet another exciting week of the Lazy Money Game. So if you have enjoyed the content, then please consider leaving a like. It really helps out the channel a lot. And until I see you next time, bye!